and welcome to the Red Leaf Card, your home for Canadian soccer news and topics. I'm your host, Jacob. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about the expansion team in San Diego and which cities should have been in Major League Soccer, and my reactions for the FIFA 2026 World Cup logo. But first, here's your fixtures rundown. Forge FC versus Vancouver FC became scoreless. Halifax Wanderers versus York United. York United beats Halifax Wanderers 3-0. Valor FC versus Pacific FC becomes a draw at 1 goal apiece. Toronto FC lost to Austin FC 0-1. Club de Foot Montreal loses to New York Red Bull 1-2. Vancouver Whitecaps beats Seattle Sounders 2-0. And my reaction to San Diego getting the expansion team is kind of mixed on this one. I think it's always this reaction that San Diego could be a potential city, but where's Sacramento at the time? And I think that Sacramento could have been a good city to have a Major League Soccer team, but I think they just basically fell apart for getting a team. But it's always this question mark when you get expansion team in San Diego. You've seen the ups and downs in San Diego. For example, see history of teams that go to have a team in San Diego. First of all, for example, the Chargers, they had to basically relocate to Los Angeles. And for example, the Clippers, for example, they had to even relocate to Los Angeles. So it's really the kind of that question mark. If you're going to get fans to watch in San Diego, how is it really going to basically last? That's really one of the biggest questions for MLS, even the fans. And there's lots of fans always going to react about this, that it should have been another city. Maybe one of them was Sacramento. And they've been here in that role since 2022. Even, for example, Louisville from 2021. Even Detroit was one of them from 2020. You had San Antonio was one of those cities from 2017. Basically failed. And they got a place in Austin. Minneapolis even was one of the cities. Indy 11 from 2017 didn't go well. I think they're still pending for getting an expansion team still. Even for Phoenix, still pending. They're still in that list for an expansion team. Biggest number one expansion team that should have been in Major League Soccer is Las Vegas. And it's really entertainment. They love sports. And I know soccer does not like gambling areas. They don't. They do have those rules. But still, they're still gambling in sports. Soccer's still in that list. But they don't do it in World Cups. Everyone knows that. The real question is, will they still add more teams? Will they add more teams in Major League Soccer? Or they'll do another new system of adding promotion relegation. And I think fans do want the promotion relegation in there. And some people who are not interested in the promotion relegation because they really think that it's not going to do really well for the owners. They want those big name players, and there's always that real question. It might be even, but I've seen right now it's going more on promotion relegation. But it's always that it's the commissioner's decision. It always has to go to commissioner's table. What rules are going to be changed? And when fans don't go anymore, just because there's more teams and, for example, more competitions, and it's always this question mark. They brought in the League's Cup. Some fans are not even happy about this. You're gonna have half a season, and then later in the mid of the season, you're just gonna play League's Cup with Liga MX, and then later, when it's finished, you're gonna go back to having the season. So, Liga MX actually had promotion relegation. Now they're pausing that into, I think, 5 years or more, and they're still going to have promotion relegation soon. And it's still that question mark. Is it good? Is it bad? But Major League Soccer is, I think, in my opinion, is a great idea. You still have large teams, a large base for soccer, and I think it's going to be really good during the FIFA World Cup. And when Canada had their league established, David Calican wanted a promotion relegation system. But it is really that question. They still didn't establish a second division league in Canada. And it's there to try to develop all the way in the future. So they're trying to get expansion teams to basically grow. And now you're looking at, oh look, Ontario is now making promotion relegation. Now that's one example, but you still have like Central America. They also have promotion relegation. You have maybe some other countries also having promotion relegation. But the majority of leagues have a promotion relegation system. And Major League Soccer is maybe that league to get promotion relegation. And I think fans are tired having the same system over and over again. And I think it's time. I think Major League Soccer needs to wake up. It's competitive. You're sooner or later going to have the World Cup hosting. And even when I saw the FIFA World Cup logo, I don't want to even think about the FIFA World Cup logo. I think people have some positives on it, some negatives on this, but where's the creativity on it? It's just the actual trophy on it and just a number of 26. And people make fun of it. I know in my opinion, it's kind of hilarious at the point. And they became kind of creative in the colors. Not actually creative enough. Toronto's colors, green and blue, and just changing the colors of the logo really doesn't actually help anything. The original logo is black on the outside and the numbers are white. And when I saw that logo, It's like to have the FIFA World Cup in space, and people might laugh at that as a joke. I know like lots of people love to make this logo a whole thing, but it's always about the the match. How is it gonna be like? How is it the atmosphere gonna look like? And I kind of agree with that. Just ignore the logo. It's all about the games, how the atmosphere holds up. And now you're seeing there's more countries going to be participating, and it's kind of more entertaining. But when you're going to have Toronto, Vancouver, and majority are going to be in the United States, but is the question is which country are going to host the finals? I've heard lots of people right now going after for the finals to host it. My decision was it has to be in Mexico. It has to be Canada. 0% should never host the finals if it was in BC place or if it was in Montreal. But Montreal, they didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. And Los Angeles is also a good place. I think New York could be one, but I still would hold down on having Mexico. They have a good stadium. They always have great fans, and is always that big question: how many fans are really interested? It's always 100% onto it. A matter of that, could Major League Soccer be postponed during it? And I would say they would have to change the schedules after that, or it's always that question mark. It's always that question mark if they're going to not have Major League Soccer at those events. But they could fix some things. But looking at the Canadian Premier League, they could still have it in 2026, and not just that. When it's 2026 for Canada, there's going to be the women's league in Canada by then, and that's great for Canada. And still, I think Canada is a good place to host. USA also a great host, and even Mexico. I really do think that some fans do have a question mark for even this place to host, but I do think it's not about what happens outside, but have fun to watch. I know lots of people are going to criticize it every single time. What's actually happening, and it's really good to watch. There's great examples. You're gonna have big name players. You're gonna have the countries that you always support, and it's gonna boom the tourist attractions, even the entertainment. But when I bring in Canada being one of the hosts of the World Cup, I've always asked this question. I always think of it. Edmonton doesn't come in. In my opinion, Edmonton was a good area to host it, but Montreal could have actually been one of the best areas to host. No question about it. And if some other cities are willing to host it for the World Cup in Canada, there's one in Winnipeg. I know people are going to think IG Field is not a great place. It's for football. It's not for soccer, aka football. And there's a stadium in Regina, good area, also, but it's for football. And it really stands out that maybe Ottawa could actually host, maybe renovate their area. And I still see that Canada still has potential in hosting their own World Cup. We've seen United States host the World Cup. We've seen Mexico host the World Cup. These were great World Cups for North America. And now you're seeing 2026. They're actually a good thing. But the matter of fact is, it's question, why collab? United States could do it. To host it themselves. Mexico could host it themselves. Even Canada. But everyone knows it's money. And we've seen some people always criticize Qatar. But sooner or later, when everyone was watching Qatar, we've seen Argentina. We've seen the great Lionel Messi getting his first World Cup. People right now, like, basically saying, oh, this is the worst World Cup. But now, they're going the other way, saying, this might be one of the best World Cups ever. And I always question a lot, how is 2026 World Cup going to be like? It's really that question. It really is that question mark. How is it really going to go? Is there going to be I know soccer does not like to be in politics, and it's really strongly in North America. I just don't like it. I just don't like it being in sports. It really damages the popularity. It really damages to the athletes, to the fans, even to the countries for hosting it. But when I think about which other countries are actually great to host a World Cup, like I would say this. I think Saudi Arabia could actually be a great host for a World Cup. I know lots of people would say we don't want Saudi Arabia to be in it. But like, think of it. You've seen Qatar. They had a great entertainment. And I think having it in Saudi Arabia could be a good one. Maybe UAE could actually be a good area. China could actually be one of those. But I think like 100% people are going to say no on that. But it's all about the greed of money. China could actually do it. I would love to see Japan. I would really go for Japan. But maybe Argentina could be also one of those if you're going to go for South America, and maybe go back to Brazil. But we've seen Brazil do it. And if you're going to Africa for it, I would say the Northern Africa, like for example Egypt, Morocco, they were still on the list for it. And I think of Europe, for example. I think Spain could do it. I think Poland could do it if they were having another country to it, maybe Germany. But it really shocked me. It really shocked me that there could be Ukraine into it. This is just a rumor that Ukraine could be one of that. And I would say, to be honest, I think it's not really the time for Ukraine to be in the discussion for World Cup. Not really the next one, not 2030 or 2034, but maybe in future. I think Australia and New Zealand could be a good one also to host, maybe in the next one. And that's really which countries I really think could be in it. But it really kind of surprises me. It's going to be a great time when we see 2026 in the World Cup, having reactions, having a great time, just seeing a game, just have fun. It really just have fun. Having these events, it really will show the popularity. Seeing all the way to the 90th minute, always celebrate, and it'll be in your histories. And that's full time in this episode of the Red Leaf Card. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I'm your host Jacob, subbing out.